Hello everyone, here is an opportunity to win exciting prizes by our Google channel. All you have to do is watch our free videos and answer in our comment box for the questions asked in between our videos. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Manjushree. In this video, I'll be explaining about types of force. That is, force means push or pull or any action that can change state of motion. That is, if an object is moving, we can stop the object by applying some force. And if the object is in rest position, we can move the object by applying some force. And force can also change the shape of an object. And if you have any doubt in the concept of force, that is, what is force, what are the effects of force, please do watch my previous video where I have explained about force and effects of force, and also I have made a video where I have explained about balanced and unbalanced force. So here I have a picture where we can observe types of force. That is, in a picture we have a father who is pushing the bicycle. It is one kind of force, and whenever we are on earth, we will, each one of us will be experiencing some kind of force. What is it? You might have heard about it. No, you might have heard about gravitational force, right? So what is this gravitational force? How it is different from the force exerted by the father when he is pushing the bicycle? That in detail I'll be discussing. So force is classified into two types. One is contact force and the other is non-contact force. So to make you understand what is contact and non-contact force, I'll be giving some examples and explaining you. Force is classified into contact and non-contact force. Muscular force, frictional force is a contact force. Magnetic force, electrostatic force, gravitational force are the example for non-contact force. So first I'll explain you what is contact force. Contact means when objects are in contact with each other, one another, and due to that contact, if the force is exerted on that objects, that is called contact force. Contact force, to make you understand contact force, I have displayed few pictures where we can observe contact force. In first picture we have a mother and son who are playing car. They are pushing car, they are enjoying their ride. When they are pushing the car, their hands are in contact with the car, and they are pushing means they are doing some action which is changing state of motion. That means they are exerting force, and here the force is exerted when the objects are in contact with each other. And in second picture you can observe two people are lifting table. When they are lifting table, their hands again in contact with table, they are lifting. That means they are doing some action. When they are doing some action which is changing state of motion, the object which was in rest position, it started having motion, and this changes are due to force which are exerted by them. And this is also an example for contact force. Why? Because the hands and table are in contact and force is exerted due to that. And in the third slide, I have displayed a picture where a person is doing some experiments in the laboratory, and he's holding a beaker and pouring some chemicals into the bottle. And here also we can observe his hands in contact with beaker, and there we can observe he's doing some work, he's doing some action, and that will be due to the force exerted by him on an object. And here his hand is one of the object and beaker is one of the object, and they both are in contact with each other. And also in the last picture you can observe someone is playing a game, and you can observe that a person is holding a stick and he's trying to push a ball. and he is applying some force to push a ball. That is, push means it is some of is it is one of the action which is done by that person, and even that is force. And even there we can observe person is in contact with that stick, and these are the examples of contact force. Contact force means force will be exerted by one object on another object. In these examples we observed hands are applying force on the objects, and force means it is any action which is done by us. That is force exerted by one object on another object when they are in contact with each other. When objects are in contact with each other, and if the force is exerted, and that force is called contact force. In this contact force, first I'll explain what is muscular force. Muscular force, that is, if you are lifting any of the objects, that is, for example, if you are lifting your books, if you are lifting a pen to write when you're writing, or when you are playing any games, when you are that is carrying your school bag, whenever you do any of the activities, any of the actions in everyday day-to-day life, what happens is your muscles will apply some force on that object which you are using, and that force is called muscular force. Muscular force is the force due to action of muscle. And also, not only when you're playing or lifting anything, not only during that, and also when you breathe, when you eat, every time you'll be applying your body organ, that is your organs which is there in your body will be exerting, your muscles which is there in your body will be exerting some force, and that force is called muscular force. Force which is exerted by muscles of body is called muscular force. All our body activities like lifting, walking, running, bending are because of muscular force. And this force is an example for contact force. Why? Because you're doing some action. When you're doing some action, you're considered as one of the objects, and the muscles are considered as one of the objects. And the object which you lift, which you do any of the action, that is one of the object, and they both will be in contact with each other. And whenever force is exerted, the objects will be in contact with each other, therefore it is an example for contact force. And next is frictional force. Frictional force means it is opposing force. Opposing force means, for example, imagine you are in a school playground and you have started playing football with your teammates. What you'll do when you're playing football, if the ball reaches your legs, you'll start kicking it. When you start kicking it, that means your legs are in contact with ball. That means your legs are pushing it. You're doing some action. Your legs are doing some action. Your muscles are exerting force. That is muscular force. And then the ball starts moving when you kick it. That means the ball will receive some force from you, and it will start moving. And if any one of your teammate starts kicking it again, and it will move further, or else it will go up to some point and it will stop. Why does it stop? Why don't it move? Why? Because there will be always some opposing force which will oppose the motion, and it is called frictional force. Why do we observe this frictional force? Is because, for example, here in this slide I have displayed two pictures in which we can observe two of them are riding a cycle, and if they stop or if they apply brake, then what happens is the bicycle which is moving will stop. And also I have displayed one more photo where there is a team who are playing football, and what happens if this person kicks this ball. When he kicks, then his legs are exerting force, and that force which will help us to move this ball, when his leg and the ball are in contact, that is muscular force. And when this ball starts moving, if it is not moved further by any of the teammates, then it will stop. Why does it stop? Is due to frictional force. What is this frictional force? Is when one object, for example here we have a ball, and ball is on the ground. So when one object is in contact with other object, what happens is all these objects are made up of molecules, and this surface will be having some irregularities. It can be seen polished and very smooth surface, but if we go to some microscopic level and observe, every surface will be having irregularities. Even though this pen looks smooth on its surface, if we observe this surface in the microscope, there will be some irregularities in that. And when this object comes in contact with other object, when these two surfaces comes in contact with each other, the irregularities which is there in this objects will interlock, and this interlock will create opposition to moving object. This will resist the motion of an object, and that is called frictional force. Frictional force is the opposing force that is created between two surfaces, and this force act between two surfaces. Always frictional force can be absorbed between two surfaces. Frictional force is the opposing force that is created between two surfaces that try to move in same direction. Frictional force can be absorbed when the object try to move in same direction or object try to move in opposite direction. The main purpose of friction is to create resistance to the motion of one surface over the other surface. And frictional force in our day-to-day life we can observe in n number of examples. That is, for example, when we are walking, when we are running, when we are skating, and also when we are driving a vehicle. In all the examples, without friction we can't imagine a world. Friction means it is an opposing force and it will resist the motion. And here I have displayed few examples where I have mentioned flying of aeroplane. And flying of aeroplane, what is the frictional force there? You can observe the air molecules. What are the two surfaces? The air molecules there, we are considering that is air resistance we are considering there. And drilling a nail into a wall, again there we can observe a frictional force. And also we can observe one more very very interesting concept there, that is pressure. That I'll be discussing about this example again when I discuss about pressure. And sliding on a garden slide, that is many examples where the motion is opposed. There we can observe frictional force. So this is about contact force. In my next video I'll be explaining about non-contact force. Contact force means force exerted by one object on another object when two objects are in contact with each other. In that, muscular force means when the muscles are exerting force, and that force is called muscular force. And next is frictional force. Frictional force is an opposing force. It resists the motion of an object. Thank you.